What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got top 10 most dominant seasons in NFL history. Let's check this out.
These performances are the stuff of legend, where athletes transcended the competition and redefined what was possible in a single season.
Facts.
From jaw-dropping stats to unforgettable moments,
he's never done this. No one's ever done this.
Each of these campaigns left a lasting impact. Get ready to relive the 10 most dominant seasons in NFL history.
I bet. Get your snacks, get your popcorn.
Empty shotgun look. Stafford has it. Again, a four-man
Cooper
rush
Kupp.
for the Buccaneers. Deep drop, big throw, down the right side.
Yeah, this is single-handedly the best wide receiver season of all time. This nigga won the Triple Crown, won a Super Bowl, and got Super Bowl MVP. Like, there's no topping that, bro.
Cooper Kupp's 2021 season kicks off our countdown, setting the standard for production and playoff success that all receivers are now measured by.
Stafford again wants to launch. Steps up and
But Kupp ain't been the same ever since, though. Dealing with injuries and shit. So. Hopefully this year we can go crazy.
The year marked the beginning of a new era for the Los Angeles Rams, who traded for quarterback Matthew Stafford in an effort to win a championship. Kupp, who battled injuries early in his career, was also looking to turn the page. The two vets clicked instantly, and their chemistry was on full display. Every single Stafford pass seemed headed for number 10.
Stafford will load up. Shoulder. Ball fake to Wood. Stafford throws. It is caught. It is a touchdown. Backpedaling as he throws and caught.
Oh my gosh, what a ball! That nigga Stafford.
Stafford end zone Kupp. He's got it.
I feel like both
was
Stafford
targeted
is
a
still
whopping
hella
191
underrated,
times, and his 145
Like, the
catches
ball
are the
placement
second
is
most
just
all-time in a single
immaculate.
season. He finished with 1,947 receiving yards, only 17 short of the all-time record. Did we mention he found the end zone 16 times? The prolific season secured him the receiving triple crown. Kupp's consistency was unparalleled, recording 90 or more receiving yards in 16 of LA's 17 games in 2021, and he was nowhere near finished.
Deep down the right side. He's got Kupp.
Dagger right there, nigga. How did they allow him to get over the top?
In the postseason, amassing 478 yards and 6 touchdowns in 4 games. His 33 catches broke the playoff record, outpacing Travis Kelce's record set the year before. If you combine the 21 games Kupp suited up for in 2021, it's a staggering 2,425 receiving yards and 22 touchdowns. The dominant season ended with a Super Bowl MVP, making play after play on the Rams' game-winning drive.
OBJ would have definitely won if he didn't get hurt. That nigga's unguardable.
And more. Bengals rushing Stafford. He steps up and fields.
Look at that, bro. Look at the no-look pass.
He steps up and
That's
fields.
tough.
Cooper Kupp makes the catch at the Cincinnati 30. Spun down inside the 25.
This is Matthew Stafford, who's now just going to take over the game and go, Cooper, just get ready.
Left. Stafford from under center. Steps back.
Bag ball
Throws
on
the
Eli
fade.
Apple.
Shoulder. Cooper Kupp's got it. Cooper
Why
Kupp
was
for
Eli
10.
Apple even
Kupp's
on Cooper
2021
Kupp to begin
performance
with?
is a testament to his exceptional skill and consistency, placing him among the greatest individual efforts in NFL history.
Alright, number 9.
When discussing the greatest running back seasons,
Walter
1977 Walter Payton is rarely ever brought up. We're here to
Sweetness.
tell you that it's perhaps the most overshadowed elite performance by a running back in a single season.
Damn, that nigga laying on his head.
Second down, 7, a delay to Peyton, 30, 35, look out, he may go to the 40, to the 30, Walter Payton down to the 20, Walt Williams is trying to get him, and he's got him just inside the 5-yard line.
In an era defined by punishing defenses and run-heavy offenses, Payton was the engine of a Chicago team that needed every single yard Payton gained, and Sweetness had the most, over 1,800 on the ground and 14 scores, both league highs. Mind you, this was a 14-game season, too. Payton averaged an astonishing 132 rushing yards per game at 5
How
and
many?
averaged an astonishing 132 rushing yards
132. Oh my
per
god.
game at 5.5 per clip.
Peyton carries the football. Hot
That is insane. I ain't gonna lie.
45, hitting out of bounds. Oh, I'm telling you. We don't even have enough time to tell you how great he is.
Bro ain't had no gloves.
His most iconic performance came on a cold November day against the Vikings. You may know it as the flu game. Peyton carried the ball 40 times, rushing for a then NFL record 275 yards while battling a 101-degree fever.
Hey, bro.
Time selling tickets here with this young man.
Nah, that's tough. I ain't gonna lie, bro. 101-degree fever is crazy.
Chicago's passing offense in 1977 was inept, ranked near the bottom of every major category. Quarterback Bob Avellini threw for just over 2,000 yards and 11 touchdowns. The Bears were also the youngest team in the league with a head coach who had won just 11 games entering the season. And get this, no member of Chicago's starting O-line made the Pro Bowl that season or any time else. Sweetness carried a team.
Go back.
Starting O-line made the Pro Bowl that season, or
I'm not gonna lie, this nigga Barber need to be crucified. Like, no bullshit. How the fuck you let? Oh my gosh, nigga, his hairline is pushed to the middle of his fucking head. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Me and my barber would have had to fight after that. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Anytime
At
else.
that point, just cut it all off.
Sweetness carried a
There's
team
no
that would be
saving that.
lost without
Honestly.
him, running through stacked boxes with a rare mix of power, speed, and agility.
Peyton did not gain over 1,800 yards by simply running over a chalk
Oh my
field.
gosh.
He squirmed and he clawed and he butted and he scratched. And Walter Payton fought for every inch along the way.
Against all odds, he helped Chicago win 6 straight games to finish the season. The 9-5 mark was good enough to earn a playoff trip. 4 Avellini interceptions later, the Bears were one and done. But in no way does that take away from all that Peyton accomplished. Over 2,200 all-purpose yards and 16 touchdowns. His MVP season wasn't just prolific, it was resilient and historic, cementing Sweetness as the NFL's
We need more
next elite
non-quarterback
rusher.
MVPs, bro.
Here's Montana throwing for the end zone. Rice. He got it. Touchdown 49ers. The 49ers have won it.
It is impossible to discuss league-wide domination without mentioning the greatest wide receiver to ever lace up a pair of cleats.
Nah,
There's
having that in only 12 games is crazy, bro.
probably 15 different Jerry Rice seasons we could have gone with here, yet 1987 stands out above the
Nah,
rest.
I ain't gonna lie.
We could have
Go back.
gone with here, yet 1987
He sold the shit out of that. He just dove over the top. Nah, he
stands
sold
out
the shit
above
out of
the
that.
rest.
I ain't gonna lie. That's tough.
He got the other 2 top guys in. Yeah, right.
1987 was one of the more unusual seasons in NFL history. Shortened by a strike, Rice only suited up for 12 games. You wouldn't have known it if you looked at his stats. San Francisco dominated the competition, and at the center of it was number 80.
49ers playing just about perfect.
Bombs away. Oh my gosh, what a dime.
Look at that. He's perfect.
Perfect throw.
Rice caught 22 touchdowns in those 12 contests, the most ever at the time. It still ranks second today, despite teams passing the ball much more frequently, and with 5 more games to work with. He even tacked on a rushing touchdown. Rice scored in every single game he played. He had more outings with multiple touchdowns than games with a single score.
Nigga had Joe Montana and Steve Young on him all the same season. Oh,
he has 3 tonight, 34 for his career. Do you believe it?
It's no surprise Rice took home Offensive Player of the Year, but he got snubbed for the MVP that season. Even with the Niners finishing 13-2 with the best offense in football, the GOAT finished second to John Elway. So why isn't this season higher on our list? Well, San Fran was stunned in their first playoff game, with Rice largely taken out of the mix. Regardless, what Jerry did in 1987 defined dominance and easily earned him a spot in the top 10. We only have 10 spots on the countdown, meaning even some of the most legendary stretches you'll ever see will unfortunately be left off the list, but we're talking about them anyway.
Griffin, the single setback. Back goes Doug Williams. Hit, sack back at the 30.
Damn,
Eagles
he just
pick up the
stole it.
football. Running with it downfield. Reggie White. 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Reggie White. Reggie White scores a touchdown.
Staying in 1987, Reggie White also put up video game numbers in 12 games.
21 sacks in 12
good enough for
games.
Defensive Player of the Year honors.
Bro.
Rutledge comes back to throw and is hammered by...
Hold up. Go back. What'd he say?
White also put up video game numbers in 12 games. 21 sacks, good enough for Defensive Player of the Year
Okay,
honors.
I was about to say he better have won Defensive Player of the Year. 21 sacks in 12 games.
The throw and is hammered by Reggie White. Boy, did he get there in a hurry. And Chris Godfrey. Here's Rutledge back
Oh
to throw.
my gosh.
Down he goes, Reggie White again.
White recorded at least one sack in 11 of 12 games. Despite this, Philly's defense ranked 25th in points allowed and missed the playoffs.
Damn. Talk about ruining the season. JJ Watt. He got snubbed for MVP, bro. Real spill. I'm never letting that down. He got snubbed for MVP, bro.
Yes, he does.
J.J. Watt finished second
Never
in
do that
MVP voting in 2014.
Like, look at this shit. 20 and a half sacks, 29 TFLs, 4 forced fumbles, and 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns for a defensive end. Come on, gang.
20 and a half sacks,
How did he
including
not win
11
MVP?
in his final 5 outings. He was no stranger to the end zone either. Watt scored 5 touchdowns, including 3 on offense in goal line packages.
Find up top of your screen. They go his way. Wow.
That's crazy, yo. Hey, bruh.
The most dominant season in the first 25 years of the NFL belongs to Don Hudson. The Hall of Fame receiver won his
in
third Triple Crown
1942.
in 1942. 74
They had nothing but
catches, over
janitors and
1,200
plumbers
yards,
playing.
and 17 touchdowns in
Shit ain't
11
special.
games. His numbers were decades ahead of their time.
That guy right there, in my mind, probably changed the wide receiver position as much as anybody who's ever played.
Charlie Hennigan's 1961 campaign set a new standard for receiving production, a single season total that would remain a record for over 30 years. He was the best wideout in the upstart AFL, and his Houston Oilers won the championship that year.
Seems like Washington and Dallas.
I don't
still
know. Oh, yeah,
First
AP.
down for Adrian Peterson down the sideline.
Then he cribbed it, yo.
Adrian Peterson is inside the 20 and gonna score.
The last non-quarterback to be named MVP also gets an
2,300
honorable mention,
yards
as
from
Adrian
scrimmage and
Peterson
13
finished
touchdowns.
8 yards shy of the single-season rushing record.
Wasn't this the year where he ran for like 298 in one game? I don't know why they didn't allow him to get first down 300.
Out of bounds at the 40-yard line. It's a run of 20 yards for Adrian Peterson, and that gives him 2009, making him the 7th player in NFL history to run for 2,000 yards.
Coming off an ACL tear, Peterson was better than
Off
ever
an
after his
ACL
devastating
tear is
injury. Our number 7 spot belongs to another 2,000-yard rusher, the first man to ever accomplish the feat. When you hear the name O.J. Simpson
My
today,
dumbass
there is a
said,
lot
"And
to
this
discuss before his play on the football field. When the focus is solely on the gridiron, there's no doubting Simpson's Hall of Fame level of play. He
Facts.
remains one of the greatest backs to ever touch a football, with 1973 becoming a season for the ages.
Simpson topped 100 yards rushing for the 7th straight game. But more important, the Bills battered an old antagonist 31-13.
The Bills were a franchise deprived of talent.
Go back. What made them do this?
31-13.
What made them want to put the goalpost in the middle of the end zone? That had to be the dumbest design
Bills
ever.
were a franchise
Like, real
deprived of talent, making the
fuck were they
playoffs
thinking?
just once during Simpson's career. Similar to Peyton in 1977, Buffalo had no aerial attack to speak of, 71 passing yards per game, along with 4 total passing touchdowns on the season. Despite this, the team still finished 9-5.
Early in the game, Simpson
OJ
escaped
really
on an
carried the team
80-yard
on his back.
touchdown run, signaling the birth of what became the most prolific
So how the fuck did
rushing
not
attack
stop it?
in the history of the National Football League.
In
Like, that was their
14
only
games, the
form of
Juice
offense
tallied
was OJ. They still
2,003
couldn't stop
yards, while other backs have gone on to surpass that number. They all did so in extended seasons. Simpson's 143 rushing yards per game remains the record over a full year, 10 more than the next closest player.
On 39 bone-wearying carries,
43
another
a game is
NFL
crazy.
record, Simpson rushed for 159 yards and Bills fans saw the juice near the magic mark.
Simpson broke the century mark in 11 of his performances and his 12 rushing touchdowns tied for the most in football. Still nearly 300 yards short of Jim Brown's single-season record after his 12th game, O.J. took it to another gear to close out the season. A combined 419 yards in his final 2 contests.
What the fuck?
Put him past Brown and into the record books as the NFL's first 2,000-yard man.
Nigga, he had a game, he had over 400 yards? Hey, bruh.
O.J. was the entire Bills' offense, and while his life after football certainly stained his legacy, what he did in 1973 was nothing short of extraordinary.
That's tough. All right, we got number 6. Oh, LT. Yeah, like what, 31 touchdowns this year?
You think of all the legends of
Man, that's still the record to this day too.
Jim Brown or Gale Sayers, and no one has ever raised the bar to 29 until now.
Wait, he scored how many touchdowns? You're reading that correctly, folks. In 2006, 31. Chargers great LaDainian Tomlinson found the end zone 31 times, a record that still stands decades later. And that's not even the craziest part. LT did all of this by his 14th game.
That nigga, what?
Really pay for it. LaDainian Tomlinson will get a block from Jackson, and we'll go all the way for the touchdown.
31
Tomlinson was putting together video game box scores only replicated by your 99 overall Madden creation. He paced the league with over 1,800 rushing yards and scored multiple touchdowns in 10 separate games. Many came in crucial moments, helping San Diego secure a league-best games. Many came in crucial moments, helping San Diego secure a league-best 14-2 record.
It's Tomlinson has a hole, breaks a tackle.
LT was one of the ones.
Tomlinson's 186 points set the new single-season mark, breaking a 46-year record held by Paul Hornung. LT averaged 5.8 yards on his 404 total touches, transcending running back production. Did we mention he could catch too?
Yeah.
56 receptions, putting him over 2,300 yards from scrimmage on the season. His trophy case was desperate for another shelf, winning 2006 MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and the Walter Payton Man of the Year simultaneously.
Here he is, left side, Tomlinson. Second effort is in. Chargers from the 3.
Bro, I feel like a running back can have a season like that nowadays and still not win. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, for a quarterback, though,
San Diego
like
was unable to make a playoff run, but LT
win.
did all he could. Another 187 yards from scrimmage and 2 touchdowns against a vaunted Belichick defense. Tomlinson could produce against the Monstars, let alone any NFL defense. Let's just hope you had him on your fantasy team.
I know he was catching everybody parlaying.
Hurts in the gun. He backpedals.
Saquon.
Still looking. He fires it out in the flat to Barkley, who beats one man, spins past another, leaps over.
I ain't gonna lie, I would never get tired of seeing that clip, bro. Honestly.
I've never seen that move, and I've been watching.
I feel bad for Jerry Jones. He gotta keep saying that shit.
To 2024 for our number 5 selection. From start to finish, Saquon Barkley put together the most dominant campaign ever for a running back. Let's rewind. Philly had a disappointing 2023 season to their standards, failing to win a playoff game. The offense was criticized, and it was clear the team needed another weapon. Thanks to the Giants, Howie Roseman delivered the goods, signing a superstar running back in his prime. Saquon literally hit the ground running.
Goodbye.
He's going to take it. Touchdown from 65.
At their own 30, Saquon Barkley as the running back. And you see it, Chris. Big opening. Barkley.
Bro, he owned the Rams last year, bro.
Will take it the distance. Touchdown.
He owned them.
Handicap being the sole focus for defenses in the past, Barkley took full advantage of a talent-laden Eagles offense and showcased his freakish athleticism all year. He became the 9th back to eclipse the 2,000-yard threshold and could have had the single-season record if he didn't sit out the final game. Combine that with 15 total touchdowns and 5.8 yards per carry.
Imagine the hate from Giants fans. It would have gave this nigga if he would have broke the record on them. That's why I wish he would have played. I understand them not playing him because they didn't want him to get hurt. But it would have been so bittersweet if he would have broke the record.
Ran away with the Offensive Player of the Year.
That would have been insane. Goodbye.
But here is why we're ranking Barkley's 2024 campaign ahead of LT, OJ, and Peyton. Unlike the trio of legends, Saquon kept pouring it on through 4 playoff games. Come January, he got even better. 574 total yards and 5 more touchdowns in 4 postseason games.
118 yards and adding to it. There goes Barkley into the clear through the snow.
Rain, sleet, snow, hail. Saquon Barkley's finna take that rock to the crib every single time, bro.
205 rushing yards in the snow against LA in the divisional round. The ultimate home run threat had 7 rushing touchdowns of over 50 yards in 2024. Barkley made heroic efforts look routine. His very first touch in the NFC Championship exemplified such.
Watching this shit. Watching this shit live, I'm like, bruh. First play is insane. I already knew Commanders were going to be in for a tough game after that.
Saquon and the Eagles sealed the deal in Super Bowl 59, blowing out the 2-time defending champs. All told, the star back amassed close to 2,900 yards from scrimmage in 20 games. There's no recency bias with this one. Barkley's efforts belong in the pantheon of all-time seasons.
Takes the snap, gives to Dickerson, turns right. He is at the 40. He's got it. And a brand new single-season rushing record for the outstanding star from Southern Methodist.
Perhaps no omission from our top 10 will garner more controversy than 1984 Eric Dickerson.
Honorable mention.
His 2,105 rushing yards remain the most ever in a season, and he was the engine to a Rams offense that made the playoffs.
Dickerson could be gone. Eric Dickerson to the end zone.
Dickerson first down up the middle. No one's going to catch him.
Stepping.
Ultimately, Dickerson didn't match the yards per game of Simpson, and his 14 touchdowns were less than half of Tomlinson's in 06. Dickerson didn't get a shot at an extended playoff run like Barkley. Also safe to say he was overshadowed by Dan Marino's record-setting 1984 campaign and an eventual Super Bowl win by the division rival 49ers.
Stafford's got it. 4-man rush, sets the pocket, throws, got Calvin, there's the record. Calvin turning the corner to 30, 35-40, and runs out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Megatron into the history books, breaking Jerry Rice's all-time record for receiving yards in a season.
Another record breaker that just fell short is Calvin Johnson. In 2012, Megatron's 1,964 receiving yards set the new single-season mark. Despite this, Detroit finished 4-12, and Johnson only found the end zone 5.
I would have been heated. You tell me I'm breaking records and we finished 4-12? I'm requesting a trade after that.
5 times. Rewind all the way back to 1952, where Rams rookie cornerback Dick Night Train Lane picked off 14 passes in 12 games. He had 6 of them in the last 2 weeks alone, including a pair of touchdowns.
The crushing blow was administered by the defense, which draped Stabler in silver and black, while Lester Hayes went up for 1, then took off for 6.
Lester Hayes picked off 13 passes in 1980, but his postseason came with even more success. Hayes tacked on another 5 interceptions en route to winning the Super Bowl with Oakland. 18 total picks in 20 games. Can't do much better than that.
That's good.
1st and 10 at the 42.
Oh, Michael Strahan.
Michael Strahan gets the sack, and just when you thought the big guy
Him and TJ Watt tied for almost sacks in the single
Takes the
season.
handoff, big rush. He's hit.
Yep, there, right on cue.
back at the 5-yard line.
Of course, you had to break it against us.
The record.
We didn't forget the single-season sack kings. Michael Strahan and T.J. Watt each recorded 22.5 sacks in 16 games, winning Defensive Player of the Year in the process. They set the bar for pass rushers, but neither took home the MVP, something that can't be said for our next dominant season.
Number 4. That boy LT.
Son, y'all gotta do better than this.
Only one defender cracks the countdown, and who better but LT to be the one. In 1986, Lawrence Taylor was a destroyer of worlds, single-handedly shutting down offenses. He was the guy on every single team's game plan, yet the pass rusher still tallied 20.5 sacks.
Hurdling over a chop block.
Looks right, is sacked by Lawrence Taylor.
Oh man.
First man, Lawrence Taylor was there. Can't find anybody, but can buy some time.
Did he just try to stiff arm Lawrence Taylor?
Prioritized instincts over assignments. It made him more unpredictable and terrifying for opponents to deal with. He had 4 games with 3 or more sacks.
Oh my
Perhaps
gosh.
no contest more crucial than a Week 14 clash at RFK, the 11-2 Giants visiting 11-2 Washington with division supremacy on the line.
You won't see that type of matchup for a while between these two teams. I'll tell you that.
Lawrence Taylor gets his 3rd sack.
Right here, it looks like he just shot out of a cannon.
Largely due to Taylor's efforts, New York allowed less than 15 points per game en route to a 14-2 record. He became just the 2nd defensive player to be named NFL MVP, and his dominance continued in January.
Montana back to throw. Going deep, it's going to be picked off by Lawrence Taylor. And he's got a lot of room to run. Taylor is in the end zone. Rice was the intended receiver.
LT's pick 6 against the great Joe Montana was the exclamation point on a 49-3 throttling of the Niners in the divisional round. In the conference championship, Taylor and the G-Men pitched a shutout against rival Washington. His tour of terrorizing offenses was capped off with a win against the Broncos in Super Bowl 21. LT's 1986 campaign can be encapsulated in 6 simple words. He came, he saw, he conquered.
All right, number 3.
Manning out of the gun.
Oh, hey, man. See, this is the season he threw for 5,000 yards, 55 touchdowns. Man, that is different,
51 touchdowns. The new single-season mark.
Now back to the best of the best to fully grasp how incredible
that is
this
insane. 5,400 yards and 55 tuds.
year was.
I don't think anybody's breaking
back
that.
to 2011.
Well,
at the age of,
I mean, pass yards can be easy to break. You know what I'm saying? Like you just throw it in the red zone and shit like that. But I really don't think nobody's breaking any of the passing yards or passing touchdowns.
35, honestly. Peyton Manning underwent multiple neck surgeries and missed the entire season. After going 1-15, the Colts made the decision to move on from Peyton and draft a quarterback with their first overall pick. Many were quick to write this off as the end of his remarkable career.
To Colts fans everywhere, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I truly have enjoyed being your quarterback.
But the Sheriff signed with Denver that offseason and quickly proved he still had plenty more touchdowns to dish out. In his second year with the Broncos, he produced the best statistical season from a quarterback the league has ever seen.
Julius Thomas for the touchdown.
You gotta show that.
Again, Manning off the play fake throws and over the middle it is Thomas.
Peyton Manning to Andre Caldwell from 28
Damn, how many
yards
clips
out.
y'all gonna
And
show?
He's got a Denver touchdown.
The outside and he's caught and spinning away for the touchdown.
That's right.
Rolling right. Wide open. And Manning airing
God
it
damn.
DT is a screen pass, and he's off to the races. DT at midfield, and he is long gone. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. He walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Denver. And if it stands, that will be Peyton Manning's 7th.
In the very first week, Manning threw for 462 yards and a record-tying 7 touchdowns against the reigning champion Ravens, and he never looked back. At the age of 37, Peyton shattered NFL records with 5,460 677 passing yards and 55 touchdowns, both single-season marks that are still going strong even with an added game.
Going deep. Oh, he's got Thomas. Goodbye. Touchdown.
Orchestrating Denver's high-octane offense with surgical precision, Manning led the team to a 13-3 record. They scored 606 total points, the most by any team in a single season. He threw at least 4 touchdowns in 9 different games, and the offense scored 35 or more points on 10 separate occasions.
Peyton still has the football.
How the fuck they get fooled by that? Honestly.
Peyton Manning runs it in.
Peyton Manning slow ass.
Peyton with a play fake, bounces around, throws to Decker in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver. The 4th touchdown pass of the game.
Averaging a hair under 38 points per game, Manning's top 4 receivers all put up double-digit touchdowns. Top that off with an NFL-high 450 completions and a passer rating of 115. The MVP race was all but unanimous.
Play fake, Peyton, first down, throws, touchdown to Demaryius Thomas. And they are headed to Super Bowl 48.
Manning's intelligence at the line of scrimmage, unmatched pre-snap
They got
reads, and
smoked by
relentless
the damn
accuracy
Seahawks,
made
though.
every drive a scoring threat. Though the
They
season
got
ended in a
smoked.
Super Bowl loss, he mastered the quarterback position and
Leads in a
has the
boom with
numbers to
something
back
serious,
it up.
man. All right, number 2.
Back to throw.
Dan
He
Marino.
will fire it down the far side. Caught by Duper at the 50. Down to the 40. He may go. 25, 20.
I wonder what number 1 gonna be.
In 1984, Dan Marino
I'm
became
surprised,
a
bro.
record
I'm surprised
book's
we ain't
worst
seen
nightmare.
Lamar on this
In
list,
just his
nigga.
second season
He won,
in the league,
he won a
shredded
unanimous MVP in 2019. So why the fuck he not
almost
on this
every
list?
conceivable passing mark there was. In an era where the aerial attack was still widely
least honorable
underdeveloped
mention,
compared to
something,
today, Marino's arm helped put up numbers once considered impossible. Up until 1984, the record for passing touchdowns in a season was 36. Marino shattered it by week 14, finishing with 48.
Here's Marino. Wide open field. Throws for a touchdown, and there's the record. That's number 37, and he threw it to Jimmy Cephalo.
He also had the first ever 5,000-yard passing campaign. Only 5 other signal callers had even surpassed the 4,000-yard threshold in a single season to that point. Wow. Think about that. Marino also led the league in passer rating and TD percentage, earning MVP honors.
What the fuck was all over the field?
3rd and 3, and Clayton is wide open. Watch out. There he goes. Do you believe it? They can't strike from anywhere.
Miami went a staggering 14-2 on the season, and their 513 points was tied for the second most all-time up to that point. Young receivers Mark Clayton and Mark Duper became stars thanks to Marino's heroics, each tallying over 1,300 yards and a combined 26 receiving touchdowns. Clayton even broke the record for receiving scores in a season.
Deep drop, throwing deep upfield down the near side, man open, touchdown for the Dolphins.
Miami steamrolled the AFC, and a 45-point
That remind me
outing
of, like,
against
the
Marino's
current day
hometown
Bengals,
Steelers
bro,
put the
with
Finns in
Burrow
Super Bowl
chasing
19.
TDs.
They fell at the hands of the 49er dynasty, but his impact on the position was already being felt. Simply put, Marino revolutionized the modern passing game. His performance remains a benchmark for all upcoming quarterbacks looking to make a name for themselves today. From one second-year quarterback to another.
Minimum rush this time. Now, it's caught by DeMarcus Robinson, and Patrick Mahomes now has hit 5,000 yards passing and 50 touchdowns.
Oh, it was
in a
2018,
single
right?
season.
In 2018, Patrick Mahomes became the 3rd quarterback ever to throw for 50 touchdowns in a season. Pretty unbelievable to think it was his first year as a starter. Kansas City scored the 3rd most points in NFL history, making it all the way to the AFC Championship. 4 years later, he won MVP again, amassing the most yards of total offense in one season. Not to mention a second Lombardi. Dominance is not limited to offense and defense either. Devin Hester recorded 7 touchdowns as a rookie in Chicago, with his most memorable coming on the first play of Super Bowl 41.
Here he goes. It's Hester. Inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown.
Hester followed it up with another 6 in 2007, showing the world that this return ace was no one-season wonder.
Seemed like everything I did was right. The 49ers were slipping, the rest of the Bears were slipping. but Gale just walked through everybody.
On this like return yards for this nigga.
And the field slick from rain. Gale Sayers.
'Cause I think I remember hearing about bro.
For an 80-yard
Like a long time ago in a different video.
The greatest rookie season ever gets an honorable mention as well. Phenom Gale Sayers scored 22 touchdowns.
6 tuds in a single game?
He even had 6 in one game, which many regard as the greatest performance in the history of football.
Warner to throw.
Warner.
Going deep downfield.
Oh
Adjusting for it is Isaac Bruce. And Isaac Bruce threads his way for a touchdown.
The ultimate Cinderella story. Kurt Warner went from bagging groceries to the maestro of the greatest show on turf. The 1999 MVP threw 41 touchdowns, but most importantly, capped off the season by winning the Lombardi Trophy.
Brady out of the shotgun. Looks to the left. Looks to the left. Fires to the
I
left.
better see Lamar on this honorable. Oh my gosh, what a catch! I better see Lamar on this honorable mention.
Our final shout out goes to the best
Final.
season
Hey,
from a
Lamar
tight
about to
end
be number
ever,
1 then, nigga.
2011 Gronk.
Gronkowski's the motion man. Brady's going to him. It was well read, but he couldn't bring him down.
Oh!
In only his second season, Gronk scored 18
Yo, how the
total
fuck,
touchdowns,
bro,
the most
Gronk,
ever
that
by a
nigga
tight
Gronk
end.
gotta have a strong ass neck.
Only his second
What
season,
the
Gronk
fuck?
scored
How the fuck he not break his
18
shit?
total touchdowns, the most ever by a tight end in a single season. 90 catches and over 1,300 yards were a career high too. His chemistry with Tom Brady was at an all-time high that year, but it's another superstar that gets top billing alongside the GOAT.
Number 1.
Brady with time.
So we don't see no Lamar love in this shit. Randy Moss.
And Brady and Moss hook up on a record catch.
The most dominant year we've ever seen, a passing duo that rewrote the record books and
still ain't
set
won
the
a
standard
bowl.
for single-season excellence. In
Bro,
2006,
Eli Manning,
Randy
bro.
Moss was
That
being wasted away in
different
Oakland.
against Brady.
Desperate for a change of scenery, Bill Belichick jumped at the opportunity, dealing a 4th-round pick for the future Hall of Fame wideout. It only
fourth-round
took the
pick?
first game of the season for the league to be put on notice. The pairing of Brady and Moss was an instant sensation.
Like a statue in the pocket. Able to go long for Moss. Moss has his first touchdown as a Patriot.
That regular season, Moss hauled in 23 touchdowns, a new NFL record. The Freak caught multiple touchdowns in 8 different games and had at least 100 yards in 9 of them. His best performance came against the Bills in Week 11,
That was a
a
great
4-score first half in prime time.
Brady again to the end zone. And that one is caught. 4 touchdown catches for Moss tonight.
While Moss was shredding secondaries, Brady was cooking up the best season of his legendary career. He was the first quarterback ever to throw for 50 touchdowns in one season, winning league MVP. Always known to do more with less, Brady finally had a superstar on the outside, and he took full advantage.
Brady for Moss.
Cheat code,
Brady's
bro.
117 passer rating topped the league, as did his 4,800 passing yards. Helped to have Wes Welker in the mix too, a machine in the slot all year long. Brady threw 3 or more touchdowns 12 different times, but the most impressive thing about the season was the team's success. New England became the only team in NFL history to have an undefeated 16-game regular season, and their plus 315-point differential is the highest ever.
Brady going deep for Moss at the goal.
That is insane. He just said, bro, he just threw
Plus
a fucking ball.
315-point differential.
I mean, I don't give a fuck who the fuck Miami got back there in that secondary. I'm throwing this bitch up to 81.
The highest
Real
ever.
shit.
Brady going deep for Moss at the goal line. Oh, did he catch that touchdown? And look at Randy Moss go up, fight for the football.
Another one?
This time Brady going
Bombs away.
in the end zone. This is unbelievable.
Brady was throwing bombs that would make
This
Osama bin
season
Laden
obviously
blush.
can't be discussed without addressing the 50-ton elephant in the room. We all know what happened in the Super Bowl. Despite this, though, we can't ignore the chokehold Brady to Moss had on the NFL. The two combined for the most prolific single season in history, something we've never seen before and hasn't been replicated since.
Damn, no Lamar is crazy, though. I ain't gonna lie. But hey, man, shit, I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Y'all let me know what other NFL videos I'm to react to. Without further ado,
I'ma make them feel me, make them people with they chow me. And if you don't know me, I'ma make sure that you know me. I hate to say it, but I really think I'm broke. But I know I'm chosen, I really know I'm chosen. I know I'm chosen. I was just lost a year ago, but now I'm focused. When good at sports, this microphone can be my trophy. Not taking drugs, I found a better way of coping.